So how many of you guys are having issues trading stocks like AMC and GME today? What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechWhat Solutions. I hope you guys are all having an amazing start, not just the week, but the overall month. Today is February 1st, a Monday, and we're off to a choppy start. So although AMC is up still 7% on the day, we pretty much sold off since where it was at during the pre-market session, and it peaked at $17. I want to update you guys again. I have a super light position. One of the things that I've been trying to preach is I trade this with fun money. It's enough money that, again, if I were to lose it all, when it comes down to my GME and my AMC position, it would not devastate me. There's a lot of hype behind GME and AMC, and of course, when there's opportunity, I want to make sure that I do my part in taking advantage of it, just like many of you guys, some going in more aggressive than others, but I simply decided to go in with 120 shares as of right now. I actually tried to buy more, and I don't know if some of you guys got this same error message, but one of the things that I kept experiencing today is when I go and try to add 20 shares to my position, guess what happens? It actually filled me this time. Let's see if it lets me buy another 20 shares of AMC. And if it does this, well, oh, it actually looks like we're not having issues buying AMC anymore. So I'm not too sure if it was just me, and you guys can let me know in the comments section. But I swear, at market open, as the overall position on AMC was beginning to sell off and we're hitting the lower $14 price points, I wanted to see if I can buy, 20, 30 shares. And it kept giving me this error message where like maximum amount exceeded when it comes down to the number of shares that I was trying to buy. And I literally was trying to buy 10 shares. I don't know if you guys experienced the same thing, but only 10 shares of AMC, and it would not fill me. But I would go to Tesla and I would buy 10 shares, and 10 shares of Tesla is much more expensive than 10 shares of AMC. And I would get filled on the Tesla position, but not on the AMC. So it looks like it's not having those issues anymore. And I'm not too sure if it was just TD Ameritrade, but I think that could be one of the main reasons that we began to see that AMC was selling off during the first 30 minutes, the first hour of the market opening, right? Because if there's a lot of selling pressure and not enough buying pressure due to those restrictions, obviously it makes sense on why it could correct itself. And one of the things that I find the most interesting about this is when the market opens, everyone's super excited, especially starting out at these like higher levels. But then once you begin to be hit with those, restrictions of not being able to buy, and then it begins to give back all the profits that you made, right? And you might go from being green on the day to red on the day. I can see why maybe people are less motivated to continue to trade AMC because now they're devastated that they went from being green on the day to red on the day. Do you guys get what I mean? And not just with AMC, but GME also experienced a very similar setup where we're no longer making higher highs or higher lows on GME or AMC. Again, I still have my 2 shares. I only own 2 shares of GME, or actually 3 shares now. So I'm still up on the open based off of my average purchase price. But as you guys can see, I'm down on the day because I've been holding these 3 shares. And this is one thing that I want to remind you is, again, I want to have enough money where I just feel motivated to follow up with it and be a part of the movement. But I also want to make sure that I play this smart and that I don't buy so much that if it ends up crashing, I end up devastating myself, right? And I think a lot of this has to do with the overall momentum and to see if that hype is still there. But based off of the looks of how it's playing out, if you guys look at the 180-day chart, a lot of these are beginning to trade below the EMA line once again. And then when it comes down to AMC, we are testing support levels at that EMA line as it's been holding pretty well, but as the volume begins to die out and there's more selling pressure than buying pressure, and if they continue to restrict these specific stocks, it would not surprise me if these things begin to pull back and correct themselves. One of the things that I do want to talk about is, especially if you're part of our LPP group during our live trading session today, one of the main ones that I was watching was Tesla, and Tesla opened up very strong right around 825. It sold off, and right as it began to trade around the 805 levels, it did break below $800 for a very short period of time, but then began to indicate signs of a reversal. I began to aggressively add to my position size, and as of right now, I'm up a little bit over 8,000 on the day on Tesla alone, and I have a little bit over 90 shares. At one point, I had a little bit over 200 shares in Tesla, but as it became a little bit more on the overbought side, again, I'm just explaining to you what it is that I did. As it became a little bit more on the overbought side, I began to sell some of my shares anticipating a pullback. So if it does begin to pull back, we talk about this all the time where I wanted to have enough money left over, right, in the reserves, that if it does pull back, then guess what? I don't ride and give back all of my profits. And on top of that, I can use the money that I haven't utilized in these open positions, and I can buy more at a better deal and then ride it back up. So if you're always so certain that you want to continue to trade something, one of the things that I love to encourage people to do is to never be afraid to lock in profits. And this is kind of just the universal concept. Sorry that I sound like a broken record, but I want to make sure that you do your part in keeping some profits in your pocket. And if you see that you are reaching overbought levels and that you could experience a pullback, yes, it does suck when you sell too early, but guess what sucks even more? When you go from being green on the day to red on the day. So you're simply annoying reminder, and I'm sorry that if you do find this to be annoying, I just want to always encourage you to think big picture, that you can always get back into those positions, you can always buy more, but one of the things that is very, very discouraging is when you go from being green on a position, you give back all your profits, and then you end up being in the red. And it's a very simple step that you can take, and that simply is not being afraid to lock in some of your profits and maybe just balancing out your position size so you can set your future self up for success. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. But I wanted to update you guys not only on the trades that I'm taking when it comes down to Tesla and the series of other trades. One of the other ones that I'm watching, I'm sorry that I'm going on a tangent right now, but one of the other ones that I'm watching is Lemonade, ticker symbol LMND. You guys can let me know in the comment section what you think. Last time it consolidated right around 140 to around 150, and it pushed up to higher levels of about 180. So it's not huge margin, it's not huge potential like AMC and GME or anything like that, but it's a solid company. It's been very bullish for a long period of time. It's a little bit more on the oversold side, the MACD, the R side, all of that looks good, and the upside in my opinion outweighs the downside, and it's been overall bullish for the past 180 days. So this is why I'm personally paying attention to it. I don't have a super heavy position size. I only have 40 shares, but I plan to buy more if and only if it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. So again, taking my position size into consideration, this is one thing that I'm sure all of you guys have experienced, where you want to have enough money in a stock that you feel motivated to follow up with it, but you don't want to have so much money in it. And again, you can let me know in the comment section if this has ever happened to you, but when you have too much money in an open position and it does not go according to plan, as that does happen from time to time, if it begins to sell off and you have too much money, you freeze, right? It's so much money that you become very emotional. And I think that's one of the most discouraging parts about getting started in the market. It's not knowing how to control your emotion and not knowing how to control your overall position size. So I just want to be that simple reminder to encourage you to balance out the position size, never be afraid to lock in profits, and simply do your part in only taking advantage of opportunities that make the most sense to you. So I really do appreciate your guys' time. I hope that we earned your thumbs up. Also, again, thank you guys for getting us a little bit over 300,000 members within our free Facebook group. If you guys are ready to join our free Facebook group, it's the first link in the description. And if you want to tune on into our live trading session tomorrow, be sure to click the second link down below, learn a little bit more about our LPP group, and see if it's a good fit for you. And we'll see you tomorrow at Market Open. Until then, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.